Hello, and welcome back to the Countdown to Halloween. I'm Jeff Owens from ClassicHorrors.club. Yesterday, I went to a terrific comic book show at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds, FallCon. I had heard on the DC Special Cast podcast that the DC Comics title Ghosts sometimes had a feature called Hollywood Hauntings, and the subject one time was Vincent Price. I was able to determine specifically this was issue number 62, cover dated March of 1978, and I found a copy at FallCon. Ghost was a horror anthology that ran for 112 issues between September and October of 1971 through May of 1982. It was one of several horror mystery suspense comics launched in 1971, including The Dark Mansion of Forbidden Love and The Sinister House of Secret Love. Those did not have the longevity of Ghosts. Each issue had multiple stories of the supernatural, and number 62 has 3. Plus, beginning with number 37, the front page was devoted to ghosts and the supernatural, which depicted alleged real-life ghost sightings. I'll read one of these Ripley's Believe It or Not-like paragraphs. In 1957, Madame Manet dreamed nightly of a strange chateau. While motoring one day in northern France, her car broke down near she was shocked to see the chateau of her dreams. No sooner was she invited inside when her enraged hostess, Madame Revaux, accused Manet's ghost of tormenting her. She murdered Madame Manet. Eventually, the mad Madame Revaux was executed. Now 2 ghosts haunt the nightmarish chateau. The first full story in Ghost number 62 is called The Phantom Hoaxer. It's written by George Cashton with art by Bill Drought. When a young woman named Ernestine falls in love with Raoul Beloit, her Uncle Bertram will not give her his blessing for them to marry. When she tells Raoul that she will be a pauper if she marries him, he replies, "If he stands in the way of our happiness, there is only one thing we can do." Well, Uncle Bertram was right about Raoul, but he doesn't live long enough to save Ernestine. Raoul convinces her to kill him, and they run his car off a cliff. But after their wedding, strange accidents begin threatening Ernestine's life. She accuses Raoul of being the scoundrel her uncle thought he was, and ultimately shoots him. However, in his dying moments, he sees the true killer, Uncle Bertram's ghost. The second story is the one we came for, Hollywood Hauntings, written by Murray Boltinoff with art by John Calnan, and it contains 2 1.5-page vignettes, one about Vincent Price and one about Rudolph Valentino. It begins with an introduction to some of Feldman's figures. The world of make-believe suddenly becomes the macabre, an eerie experience featuring a specter more spine-chilling than a screenwriter's imagination. For his many memorable villainous roles, Vincent Price has been aptly called the Prince of Ghouls, yet the priceless Mr. Price has grim evidence of his belief in ghosts. The following panels tell a story of when Vincent Price was young and he was visiting his grandmother, and he witnessed his uncle die following a hunting accident. His grandmother spent the next few months locked in her bedroom grieving, when one night she came downstairs and sat at the piano, an instrument she had never played. But that night she stunned her family as she played it like a concert pianist. Afterwards she stood and spoke, "Thank you, my son. Now you can rest. I shall never play again." It's really cool that this tale from Vincent Price's childhood was told in comic book format, but it's a little disappointing we don't get to see any likeness of him as an adult. I'm not going to share the plot of the third story, To Kill a Raging Wraith, written by Carl Wessler with art by Ruben Yandok, because you might want to discover something about the comic for yourself. I will say that it's the cover story, so let's take a look at the cover. The artist is Luis Dominguez and shows a matador with what appears to be a ghost bull, its skeletal form revealed beneath transparent skin. The editor of Ghosts was Murray Boltinoff, and this 32-page issue cost 35 cents. Thanks for reading along with me. Happy hauntings, and I'll see you tomorrow.